Mr. Donald Trump was giving a speech last Sunday, and he talked about a variety of subjects. So we're going to be reacting to that speech to see if any of what he said actually affects or not my real estate investment plans for 2025. And but stay all the way to the end, because there's one person that once it gets confirmed by Congress and takes office and all that stuff, may actually do something that may be useful for us as real estate investors. So stay tuned, because we're going to be talking about that. Now, with all that being said, let's get into it.
Oh, it's so nice. We won the popular vote by a lot, by millions and millions. And I used to hear the first one, we won and we did great. And they always would say, well, he didn't win the popular vote. He won the electoral college. They'd say that blow. But we actually did very well then.
Okay, so this was just Trump, well, being Trump, right? Essentially saying, hey, yeah, I won by landslide, and, hello, here I am. Just to be clear, I did vote for Trump in this election. I did not vote for him on the previous election. I actually voted for Biden. I was a lot less aware of everything that was happening in terms of politics, and I actually started to invest in real estate afterwards. And as an investor, I remember that Biden, at some point when he was running, he started to talk about rent controls. And this is crazy. How are you going to control the rent? How am I going to recover my investment? How I don't want to be having any constraints in putting more rent to recover the money that I'm investing in these things. If the market is going up, right? If the market is going up, well, that is part of our underwriting. That is part of how we determine if a deal is a deal, because of the market rent. So if I cannot buy a property and then get the market rent, and with the interest rates as high as they are, so it's going to be really hard to cash flow things and to make deals actually be deals. So I didn't like Biden because of that. And then when he moved to Kamala, Kamala was starting to say crazy things about that as well. I remember one of the things that I really was shocked about was the proposal of unrealized tax gain. So that is so crazy. You cannot tax somebody if they have not actually earned that money. It's just unrealized. And remember that things like the income tax, we didn't actually have income tax to everybody at the beginning. We had income tax to just a small percentage of the population. So what if these unrealized gains now gets actually passed down to you and to me, because they want to just expand? So I don't really like that direction. So that's why I didn't want to vote for them. But anyways, enough about that. Let's just keep watching.
We pay Canada in subsidies and deficits over $150 billion a year. And you say, why are we doing that? Why are we paying Canada $150 billion? Essentially, we're paying Canada, and we love Canada. I have so many friends. I love Canada. I love it. But why are we spending $150 billion on Canada? Yet Canada allows people and drugs to flood in through our northern border. We have a northern border that's not doing so well either. Likewise, people are coming in from Mexico in numbers that have never, ever been seen before. We had 21 million people come in over the past 4 years. Think of that, 21 million people. And you see a lot of these people should not be here. They come from mental institutions and prisons from all over the world, not just South America. Hundreds of thousands more are racing to get across before January 20th. You got to see it.
All right, so many people think that the immigration crisis, like people going through the border in Mexico or other places, whatever, is going to really cause a problem in the real estate market. So they were saying, oh, yeah, we need all of these people to increase demand and all that. But you have to remember, and I know these things very closely because I'm an immigrant, I'm not an immigrant that came through the border. I actually came through a working visa by that time. But I do know, like, when you are getting inside of this country, it's very hard to set yourself up. And these people are actually coming from like through the border. Uh, they don't have the right papers, right? So you cannot run a background check on them as easy, so you cannot qualify them as a good tenant at all. So I don't think that we're really missing out of anything there. So I don't think this is going to really affect anything. And whatever he mentions about Canada, well, not something that is, that's more of a yeah, not the new nationalism that we want to, exude to other countries. Like, okay, well, guys, if you are close to the US and we're giving you value, you have to give us value back. But I don't think that's really going to affect anything in the real estate market. So, or not much. So let's keep watching.
The Panama Canal is considered a vital national asset for the United States of America due to its critical role, American economy, the whole world economy, and also national security. The Panama Canal. Has anyone ever heard of the Panama Canal? Huh? Because we're being ripped off at the Panama Canal like we're being ripped off everywhere else. A secure Panama Canal is crucial for U.S. commerce and rapid deployment of the Navy from the Atlantic all the way to the Pacific. It's an incredible thing, and drastically cut shipping times down to U.S. ports by days and even weeks. The United States is the #1 user of the Panama Canal, with over 72% of all transits heading to or from U.S. ports. Think of that. So we built it. We're the ones that use it. They gave it away. Considered one of the one of the great wonders of the world.
So the Panama Canal is this tiny, 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 tiny piece of land that ships use to get from one side of the world to the other side of the world. So why is this even important when I actually think that this one can matter? Again, I'm not trying to predict it, but probably can happen. Why? Because one of the drivers of real estate, one of the employers or industries in a real estate market could be the military, like the military bases, for example. So here in Florida, we have Jacksonville. It's a city that has actually like a strong military presence there. There are some military bases there. So if there's operations of the military growing to take back the canal or some special operations or whatever, that may increase housing demand for these professionals, and we may see an opportunity.
When President Jimmy Carter foolishly gave it away for $1, $1. During his term in office, it was solely for Panama to manage and not for China or any other country to manage. You see what's going on there? China.
All right, so Trump has this new way of calling China, and you hear this reaction in the crowd. So yeah, I mean, he's a showman. But anyways, just not to enter too much on the trade war with China and all that. And I do think the U.S. has to do something about it. But just to stay on the Panama thing and the Panama subject, here is the president of Panama actually responding back in Spanish. I wanted to put you the actual video of him saying stuff, and after that, I'm going to translate what he said.
Quiero expresar de manera precisa que cada metro cuadrado del Canal de Panamá y su zona adyacente es de Panamá y lo seguirá siendo.
Okay, so now you see the president of Panama saying something like every single square feet of the Panama Canal is from Panama. And he obviously has this face of, very little friends. So, anyways, it's just a dispute there. And like I said, the opportunity can be if the military operations changed to support this take back of the canal. It could actually be an increase of demand. Of course, this can also be resolved just with diplomatic means, and none of that is going to actually, it's not going to require the military at all.
And they posted this and they said,
the president said every square meter of the Panama Canal belongs to Panama, and then you see they actually posted back that Donald Trump responded this, that he said, well, we'll see about that. So we're getting to the part of the video that I was mentioning at the beginning of this, that there is one person and one thing that we should actually, watch out. That can actually be something that is meaningful for real estate. So this is where Trump started talking about RFK and his nomination. Let's watch.
I decided, look, something's going on here. When you look at like autism from 25 years ago and you look at it now, something's going on, and I nominated Robert F. Kennedy Jr. Think of it. Think of this. 25 years ago, autism, 1 in 10,000 children. Today, it's 1 in 36 children. Is something wrong? I think so. And Robert and I and all, we're going to figure it out. But did you ever hear numbers like that? Something's wrong. Something's wrong. Likewise, there's been a 25% increase in childhood cancer and a staggering increase in chronic diseases. So together we're going to make America healthy again. We're going to make America healthy again. Something's happening. Something bad is happening.
The idea here is similar to what I was saying before with the Panama Canal. So just think about it. Anything that can affect the supply or the demand of the housing market is something worth watching out for next year. So just think about it. How is it related? How's the health department or the health system of the United States of America related to the housing market? Well, if things start to get disrupted, right? Because this is something that I don't think any politician has been talking, except them. Like they want to create profound change in the health system through this nomination. So, and obviously through Trump, right? He wants to shake the status quo. So if we apply that to the health system, what if that causes health professionals to move within the country to create new centers, all of these things that can change, and if new focus centers are created around the health, right, problems, and around these new trends of the health industry for the US, that could affect the housing market as well. Probably hubs that are not health hubs at this point may become health hubs, or the current health hubs of the country may actually increase their demand if things are changing there. So that, again, something to watch out. So let's see in RF Kennedy's own words what he wants to do for the health industry in this country.
For you, what have your conversations been like with Donald Trump? Donald Trump has said that he would put you in charge of the public health agencies. What exactly does that look like?
Well, he's been very specific in what he said. He wants me to do 3 things. 1, clean up the corruption of the agencies, particularly the conflicts of interest that have turned those agencies into captive agencies for the pharmaceutical industry and the food industry, the other industries that they're supposed to be regulating. Number 2, to return those agencies to the gold standard science, the empirically based, evidence-based medicine that they were famous for when I was a kid. And number 3, to make America healthy again, to end the chronic disease epidemic. And President Trump has told me that he wants to see measurable, concrete results within 2 years in terms of a measurable diminishment in chronic disease among America's kids.
So the key thing here is what he said, 2 years. So 2 years is just half of the presidential term. Every presidential term is 4 years. So 2 years, so he wants By he, I mean Trump. He wants results as quick as possible. So that's why I think that it's going to be aggressive, the change that they're going to pursue. And yeah, essentially he's saying that he wants to change some of the structure and the corruption of these agencies. But if they, let's say, if he destroys an agency, how is that going to affect the other things? And we're going to see these agencies actually being split and being sent to the states. So then we have more. Actually, that can actually affect the demand. Just that, because we will have more employment by the government in specific states instead of concentrating that in a single agency. That can be something there. Or is that going to affect the actual health professionals? Is that going to affect the insurance side of things, right, in the health industry? So it's going to be interesting to see how the powers are going to move this thing, and what kind of demand this can actually, create in the country. One last thing before I go is that something that is actually gaining some traction that I'm realizing is the mid-term rentals. So this is like the short-term rentals, but the term rentals is like 30 days, 2 months, 3 months, 4 months, instead of just a couple days like Airbnb. And why I'm saying this is because in the health industry, you have the travel nurses, right? There's actually a website that these travel nurses can find apartments and places to stay for an extended period of time. It's not just an Airbnb that will be too expensive, but it's kind of it's a rent, but it's not really a rent long term, right? So it's a mid-term rental. So that is something that's gaining traction, right? And there are multiple things. So these travel nurses, they do it. Some other insurance companies, they when there are some disasters or some problems with the houses that they're insured, they will find other peoples that will provide houses, like temporary houses for these people that are without houses because they're being fixed by the insurance company and the contractor. So they will send them to another house. There's another example of a midterm rental. But in this case, these travel nurses are, of course, part of the health industry, right? So I don't know how this is going to actually affect things, if it does at all, but definitely something to check in the next year. So with this, we actually get to the end of this video. I think this one ran a little bit long. I'm just trying to learn all of these ropes of how to create this type of videos and post them here in a regular basis. So just please bear with me. I just wanted to ask you what you think about all this. Do you think any of what Trump said actually will affect the real estate market for the next year? Do you think the Panama Canal or the things like the health disruption that RFK Kennedy can bring or whatever can actually affect things, or do you think we're gonna be kind of the same? So anyways, I want to hear your comments down below. So yep, see you in the next video. Goodbye.